also match. So how much has Galissa lost?
And coming in a featherweight, 54 kilos. You can see Gilles isn't sweating anywhere near as much as you, Steve.
I know.
He's not losing the same amount of fluid.
And Steve's soft Western feet are no match for the locals either.
20 minutes and look at you, your feet look like they've been flayed.
I know, I don't think I could keep up with their calloused feet, I'm afraid. My little namby-pamby pink toes weren't just up to the grade, I'm afraid.
So how does Galissa rate the 20-minute cameo performance?
Yeah, he says I choose him before I see how he plays.
Fish has seen many heat and many suns, so he says your feet is new to this area. If you go barefoot 5 days, your foot will be a far foot.
Maybe tomorrow. Gad again. Thank you for everything this week. It was fantastic.
Thank you, Galissa. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to your village and for making us feel so welcome. Let's get you home. Do you need to be carried? Right, ready? Oh, my God.
While we take Steve away to be patched up, Dougal has begun the final climactic leg of his geological mission to map the volcano at Erta Ale. Erta Ale is 3 days away by car, but Dougal's found a way to get a preview of a phenomenon he's dreamed of exploring for years.
Well, we've been lucky enough to get hold of a fixed-wing aircraft for a short period of time that'll allow us to actually get up to assess the current state of Erta Ale and check that the lava lakes are just bubbling away and that the access will be good there.
The tiny plane is thrown around in the superheated air, rising from the seemingly endless volcanic landscape.
We can really start to see some of the volcanic centres coming through, and that's about 40 or 50 kilometres south of the Erta Ale Massif. And yeah, it's very, very big from up here.
The Danakil lies on the Great Rift Valley, where the edges of two tectonic plates are slowly moving apart. This causes the crust to stretch and thin, allowing molten magma to force its way up to the surface.
Just approaching the top of Erta Ale now. The plane is jumping all over the place, but I can just about see. I can just see the crater of Erta Ale right in front of me now. Boy, is this good. The lava lake is bubbling away. It's low enough, we should be able to get access to the lava lake. Oh wow, you can just see it steaming away there. Oh, this is phenomenal, really good.
How this lava lake is developing will help determine how thin the Earth's crust has become. What Dougal describes as a weeping wound in the broken skin of the Earth.
That is Erta Ale volcano, the oldest known lava lake on the planet, just there.
All Dougal has to do now is get him, his team and the 3D mapping kit into that live crater. Back in the village, the day-to-day survival of the Afar people rests on their livestock, and Steve's found a way to say thank you to the Afar for their hospitality. They have little or no veterinary care for their precious animals, so he's offered to run a camel clinic.
Another day, another camel. Here we go.
His first patient is a camel with a sore hump.
It looks like there's teeth marks here and there, basically.
Yeah, it was bitten by a camel.
Yeah, males have to compete for females. Quite often will bite each other. Big, sharp canines as well, built for fighting. And when you've seen inside their mouths, they're not the cleanest of places. What we need to do is we need to clean this up and have a look at it and see.
But something tells me the camel's not going to like this.
We've got it muzzled. It could probably still headbutt me, but they've tied its back legs, they've tied its front legs, and we'll just have to sort of take it nice and slowly. Got to get. Hello, we found the sore spot.
For this infection to heal, the camel needs a shot of antibiotics and plenty of rest.
One of the things that they want to do is get this animal back to performing quickly. You know, this is not a pet. This is an animal that has a job to do.
Injuries are serious for working animals, but the major threat to these invaluable creatures is disease and bacteria.
Where's our other camel?
No, it's not normal.
This is not normal?
Yeah.
Okay. So they've got very, very bad diarrhea. Obviously, if they get diarrhea, that means they're losing water. And in an environment like that, that can be very, very serious.
But treating animals in these conditions is no easy task for Steve.
I had no idea what to expect. It was a bit of a leap into the deep end. Unfamiliar species, then the lack of laboratory equipment and everything else. I don't know what bacteria here. I can't do any blood cultures. I can't do anything here. So I've really realised that I'm actually reduced to the state of a layman almost. I can get little bits of information.
The Afar here have never had access to Western medicine, so have developed their own methods of traditional healing for their animals.
Steve, this is Abdul Qadir, is Afar traditional healer, and he's an elder around here.
Okay, so what would you treat this camel with?
There's a tree called miaito, he says. I'll milk a camel, mix it together, and I'll put it in his mouth, and the bad things will go.
But as well as plants, the traditional healer uses some stranger treatments, including cutting their ears.
He says, if I see him crazy running around, he says, they cut a small amount of their ear.
And what does that do?
He becomes a little bit quiet, then he knows that something is with him.
Okay. Now that's interesting. That's an interesting way forward. It doesn't surprise me that there are traditional treatments. What's interesting is it seems to be a combination of some things that could prove to be very useful, like the plants and seed remedies. But coupled with that, you do get some of these strange sort of, you know, the cutting of the ears and this sort of thing don't have any therapeutic benefit at all. But it's not for me to sort of judge that here.
But it's not just animals that are treated with traditional methods like cutting. Team Dr. Mukul and I have found they're also used on people.
Will you show me Aisha's leg? Show me what's the matter with it.
We've been joined by Australian nurse Valerie Browning, who's lived and worked with the Afar people for 20 years and conducts regular clinics of her own.
Big scars.
She said she had a huge infection here, and this is burning, and that helped to get all the pus out.
By burning or cutting the skin, some Afar believe they destroy what they think is the bad blood that causes illness, though not everyone here is convinced.
Did any of these help, do you think?
He said, what hope is this? He said, no, it didn't help her at all. He's quite angry. Huh? She said that this is nonsense. She said that this is just total nonsense. It can only make her sicker.
As well as dealing with these ancient traditions, Valerie and her health workers have an uphill battle to diagnose and treat patients like Aisha.
I mean, is there anything obvious that you would know about that these symptoms would match?
The only thing I've come across, I remember reading about a condition called brucellosis, and it's linked to unpasteurised milk.
Brucellosis is a disease that can infect the central nervous system and is caught from bacteria in animals' milk. It's rife in this region, and Steve has found several cases of it in the goats in Kusarat.
Brucellosis would be considered a very serious disease, and we're told about a lot of this stuff in the UK because it's of historical importance. But out here, it's still going on a day-to-day basis. You know, some of these diseases here could have real impacts on people's lives.
The Afar's precarious existence relies entirely on the milk and meat they get from their animals. Yet these same animals are passing life-threatening diseases back to them.
You need to be on good form in this environment.